dope taste. Like I run the baby. Anytime I'm all in. Got a lot of dope taste. Like I run the bases.
Waterboy Confidential Sports News Fan Talk. Plain and simple. It's your boy Robbie Digital, the most loved, hated, and hydrated. And today we are here to react to the Commanders' first preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. 20-7 victory. We're not here to overreact. We just really here to assess things, the good, the bad, the ugly, and also do a nice little Sonny Styles, Micah Parsons comparison, because everybody's, looking at this preseason game and really examining Sonny Styles, trying to figure out, what did we see? Did he play good? Did he play bad? So we'll dive into that too and really break that down based on how he compared to Micah Parsons in his preseason debut, right? So first things first, we're going to start with the good, okay? And the good begins with this offensive scheme. I'm really feeling how everyone's eating in this offensive scheme early on in preseason game. Number one, spreading the ball around. We had 10 different receivers catch passes during this game against the Dolphins. And even better, the tight ends caught 3 receptions, right? So in Cliff Kingsbury's system, there was a lot of tight end, but it was just one. It was all going through Zach Ertz. You have 2-3 tight ends in our tight end room that are capable of catching the ball, but they weren't in the mix of the offense. And going into this season, we're going to be running more 2 and 3 tight end sets. So if you're going to use 2 and 3 tight end sets to strengthen your run blocking, to strengthen your protection for Jaden Daniels, you still have to incorporate them into the passing game, or else it becomes a tell for the run game. So it's very encouraging to see that this offense early on is spreading the ball around, involving everyone. You had 10 different receivers catch passes, 11 targeted. We'll talk about that 11th later. But, when you have Diggs as the addition here, Terry McLaurin, they can't be the only people catching passes, and we can't be too dependent on just one tight end, which creates a tell in the passing game. Again, if you're going with these 2 and 3 tight end sets, you got to switch it up, mix it up a little bit. And I'm liking how this offense, again, is getting everyone involved, but especially getting in that getting those second and third string tight ends involved in the passing game as well. And going further into the passing game as part of the good, I gotta highlight Jaylin Lane. I was getting on these Peters skill player draft picks in the wide receiver and running back room. Jaden Daniel needs help. He needs support, and he needs a supporting cast to grow with and become a family and bond with. We can't keep bringing in guys that he played in college with. We need to draft guys and build a team and a culture and a family that he can, again, grow with and develop with. So part of that family is going to be Jaylin Lane, because he contributes in the return game, but he also has to contribute in the passing game. Again, with this addition of Diggs in the wide receiver room, it's making things more competitive. So these second and third year wide receivers, Jaylin Lane and Luke McCaffrey, they got to show out. And Jaylin Lane played good. He was winning on one-on-one routes, showing that leverage, getting good breaks out of his routes to make himself a good target for his QB. And he was in the mix in the offense, not just in the passing game, winning against cornerbacks. It's not like he was schemed open, which is a plus, but also when he was schemed open in the slot screens, he was able to make something really out of nothing, because the blocking really wasn't that great, but he was able to move the rock and get some yardage there. So he had 3 touches, averaged about 10 yards per touch. So I would say that's a really good day for Jaylin Lane as well. And then the obvious, this running game was looking amazing. After they got things going, Kaytron Allen and Robert Henry really showed that nice thunder and lightning combination that you want to see when you're trying to install a Detroit Lions style offense. We already seen in that Lions offense the last few years, showing the change of pace, showing their unique skill sets and adding that to the game with that thunder and lightning type mix. You had Robert Henry Jr. averaging over 6 yards per carry, 12 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. That last touchdown run was very impressive, how he read the line and cut outside. And then you have Kaytron Allen with his 23 carries, 85 yards, and his touchdown, doing what he does. He's going to be the guy You want him out there to get that short yardage, hit the hole, every once in a while, make a nice cut, break out for 10, 20, 30 yards. His thing is he just had a lot of 2-yard carries. So while I will say the running game was good and they showed, their skill set and popped on the screen, Kaytron Allen did drop a check down pass, so you got to hit that jug machine, make sure he get his hands right. And on top of that, he just has to make sure that his short run plays are a bit more productive. That's why he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry in his preseason debut. And it's because, in between he's getting too many 2-yard carries. He needs to get those up to 3 to 4 yards, keeps the chains moving, and keep his average up. One other thing to note with Robert Henry is the comp I'm seeing. The way he popped on screen is funny. It reminds me of how Travion Henderson popped on screen his first preseason game against the Commanders when the Commanders played the Patriots last year. So, in that game, Travion Henderson had 2 touches. He had the opening kickoff for a 100-yard return, and then he had an 18-yard run on one of his carries. So you're seeing that same type of debut from Robert Henry Jr. When he touches the ball, he just goes into game time mode, and he's looking for yardage. He's looking to make plays, and he's making really smart, high IQ decisions behind that line if you're really just watching how he plays. So similar debut to Travion Henderson in terms of how he popped on screen, made big plays. But we do have to be realistic, too, because even though Travion Henderson popped and the stock went up, he was limited based on just the amount of people in that running back room. We have a number of players ahead of him and in the mix when we talk about Kaytron Allen and Krosky Merritt and Rashad White. And it was the same thing with Travion Henderson. He had to sit there behind Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson and really earn his minutes and opportunities and wait his time. So I think the way Robert Henry Jr. is playing, though, he may be in the mix sooner than we think, and especially because he will contribute on kick return or punt return too. So we may see him on the field, but I would rather see them give Kaytron Allen and guys like Robert Henry more opportunities than these retread vets because we need to see these players develop, and we've seen what these vets can do. And especially a guy like Robert Henry, if he has big playability, those are the things that you need to really enhance your offensive scheme and throw the defense off balance and make them play more honest. Like when your running back is a known threat, then you can control the way the defense lines up and who they target and just their overall scheme in general and how they make adjustments throughout the game. You can do a lot of things differently when your players are known threats and not just guys in formation moving around that they're just playing honest one-on-one or that they're not worried about. We need someone on the field offensively for defenses to worry about beyond just Jaden and Terry. So from there, that's the good. Next, we go into the bad, all right? And the bad for this game is Sonny Styles. Now, Sonny Styles didn't necessarily play bad, but he just didn't play good. And, it's a simple eye test. Do you pop on screen? Do you show athleticism, burst that, speaks to the measurables in your performance at the combine and the reasons behind why you were drafted? So for Sonny Styles, he did a good job of zone coverage, getting in position, stopping some of these scrambles because, guys like Malik Willis, when you let them get loose, if you don't have guys there like Sonny Styles to cut them off, those runs can go for another 10, 15, 20 yards, maybe a touchdown. So he was good in those situations, but in the run game, he seemed to struggle. North and South, I think he's going to perform well in the run game early on because those are quicker reads, but he needs to do a better job of doing these east to west run play diagnosis, moving laterally, reading the offensive line, not overcommitting on that first move when the running back is doing a zone read or running a counter. You end up getting sucked into their first move, getting caught up in the blocks, and he just wasn't doing a good job of moving laterally without overcommitting or moving laterally and engaging with those O-linemen who were getting to the second level and being able to either pin and control him so he can still read or just quickly shut him so he could go to the other side where the running back was actually going to. So he did a good job overall after getting contact with those own linemen of trying to get into the play in some cases. But a lot of times he was just getting too sucked in on that first move. And what you want to see him do is not overcommit and be able to cut to the other side and meet that running back. You don't want to get drawn in to these old linemen, and that limits your ability to, defend the play. And now you're just there, helping on the back end, but the running back already made their move and they already got their 3+, 4+, 5 yards, or whatever the case may be. So that's also because of he's playing with the backup defensive line, right? Not like, he's not playing with the starters, and the starters, the guys like Daron Payne, for example, are going to do a better job of holding up that offensive line and giving them some time to read and make the play. But let us not overreact to this debut by Sonny Styles. And to do that, let's compare his performance to Micah Parsons' debut. He debuted against the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Hall of Fame game, his rookie season. And, Micah Parsons wasn't a finished product either. There was a little bit more variety in how the Cowboys used him. They had him playing middle linebacker, off ball. They had him pass rushing as a DN edge rusher. But both guys finished with 3 tackles, right? The only big difference is Micah Parsons had a fumble recovery, and that pretty much fell in his lap. It's not like he caused it, but he was in position to make the play. But I think if you look at both debuts, both left some room for improvement. Micah Parsons didn't look great against the run in his debut either. So what we have to do is just be patient, really understand at the end of the day, Sonny Styles wasn't even playing with his starting defensive line. So you got guys like Daron Payne, for example, that are going to do a better job of keeping him free so he can read some of these plays a bit better. Plus, you got Durante Jones and his scheme overall. They're not going to show everything, so they'll likely move Sonny Styles around a little bit more, scheme him a little bit more, and he's just going to get comfortable, right? We just have to watch game to game, not just in preseason, but as this regular season starts. Does he get a bit better at reading these different run concepts? And more importantly, does he play better shedding these blocks, moving laterally, keeping himself free so he can buy himself more time to read and react? So, again, when you look at the comparisons between Micah and Sonny and their debut, Sonny really didn't do that bad. But, we want to see him pop. He's a first-round pick. And when you got guys like Robert Henry, for example, just popping on the screen, you want to see your first-round pick and Sonny Styles pop on the screen, being that he's so capable athletically. And with this scheme, he should be in position to make plays not only in the run game, but in the pass, doing zone coverage and maybe matching up on tight ends and slot receivers. So then we have the ugly, all right? Now, leading the way on the ugly side of this performance is this interior defensive line and Luke McCaffrey. This interior defensive line was just getting pushed around way too easily. They had the offensive linemen getting up to the second level way too easily early on in the game, giving up 5, 10, 15-yard rushes, not really getting good pressure up the gut on the quarterback. So the biggest, most alarming thing was really just their run defense on this interior D-line. It needs to hold up way better so these linebackers have time to read and create pressure on the edges. And if this defensive line does not improve, which we got to hope it does when you add guys like Daron Payne out there, then it's going to be a problem for Durante Jones, because Durante Jones needs his interior D-line to hold up so he can, set up those disguises on his defensive scheme and not have to bring another defender down and not have to, use too many linebackers to apply pressure. And sometimes if they're not able to hold up, you have to play more honest and things get more predictable for the opposing QB. So if the front can't hold up, eventually Durante Jones is going to have to limit his disguises, apply more pressure. And again, we're not going to see the maximum potential of our linebacker core or this scheme in general. Now, on the other hand, we have Luke McCaffrey. There were 11 receivers targeted during this preseason game, And unfortunately for Luke, he was the only one who did not bring in his targets. He had 2 targets. One was even a touchdown opportunity. And look, it's a crowded wide receiver room, especially now that we added Diggs. So for Luke McCaffrey to be going in on his 3rd year now, he has to show production, not potential. And this was a big opportunity for him to get on the scoreboard, get some good highlights out there, and he dropped the ball, literally. So when we're looking at the ugly side of this performance, this interior defensive line and Luke McCaffrey have some room to improve going into game number 2. Yeah, so when we look at this final scorecard, definitely more good than bad, more good than ugly. On the good side, you got that offensive scheme looking good, good pass play distribution. Got Jaylin Lane involved too, good route running on his side and contributions on the offense. And then that running back room with Robert Henry Jr. and Kaytron Allen showed up big. On the bad side, Sonny Styles, not the best debut. We'll definitely want to see some more pop, some big plays on his side. But, again, room for improvement. He needs to really focus more on doing a better job of reading those zone and counter run schemes so he doesn't get too drawn in or caught up on these offensive linemen getting to the second level. And then on the ugly side, you had that interior defensive line. If that's the backups, then we definitely got to keep the starters in there, and the starters got to stay healthy because that backup D-line was just giving up everything on the run game on the interior. And then Luke McCaffrey, again, just lack of production in his first preseason game. He has to show up big, especially with the wide receiver room being so crowded. So what's your good, what's your bad, what's your ugly in this Commanders preseason game against the Dolphins? What do you think of the Sonny Styles debut and how he compared to Micah Parsons in his debut? It's Waterboy Confidential, sports news, fan talk, plain and simple. Your boy Robbie Digital, the most loved, hated, and hydrated. We'll be back with more Burgundy Buzz, of course, too. So till then, tap in, like, subscribe, comment. I'm out.